What's up, bitches? Hi, friends. I missed the chat. Gamer's here. Oh, the whole crowd is here. Crab is here. Indy's here. Indy's here.
Mm-hmm.
That's unusual for
probably
this
while
time.
on his phone while wrangling children. You know?
Go the fuck to sleep. Reef is here. Colin's
right?
here. I don't know if anybody else is coming. We're still like trying to figure out how we're getting guests on the show, or if we're getting guests on the show. We're very organized.
The most organized.
The most organized show. You put two of the most ADHD people in charge of a show, Indy. I mean, you get what you get.
Okay, we get things done.
Do we?
You know, I think.
Do we though?
I think.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Pootie, Buddy. Oh, Buddy, not Pootie. Okay. Didn't go with this. Typos. Okay, so I have a lot I want to bitch about. Do you guys want to start with Marianne Williamson?
No.
I do. I mean, I don't. But I do only because I have a lot of people asking me what her old opinion of Assange was. And I've talked about this numerous times because 4 years ago, she was on Jimmy Dore's show and he asked her directly about Julian Assange and her answer is not good.
Right.
However, I will say that, and I'm hoping maybe she'll do this with Ukraine too. She seems to just go with the wind. Wherever the wind goes on an issue, that's where Marianne goes. But it'd be cool if she would stop being a warmonger. I mean, that would be fun. So she was on with Jimmy 4 years ago. He asked her directly about Assange. Her answer sucks. Since then, she has done some stuff for Assange. You know, when she can get some publicity out of it, I think. You know, she shows it. I have personal issues. We can talk about that later, I guess, maybe. I don't trust her. But so this is the interview from, let me make sure I got the right one. Okay. This is the one from 4 years ago because people have been asking me, oh, wrong button.
This is chapter 4 in her book.
Yeah. All right. Just everybody's been asking me, do I have to do like anything with audio or anything, Reef, or will it just play on?
I think you're good.
So people asked me, I know Crab asked me for sure. So here, this is Marianne Williamson's initial opinion on Julian Assange.
You know, the big reason why we have a show and the reason why we even do a show is because the mainstream news media has been captured by the people that they're supposed to be investigating and exposing. So they're funded and owned by the very people that they're supposed to be investigating and exposing. And so what happens when that happens? Well, we don't have a fourth estate anymore. We really just have pushers of propaganda with very loud microphones. And so now it's left up to citizen journalists like myself. You know, we debunked Russiagate for 3 years on this show. I like to say a dumb nightclub comedian in his garage could see through it. Why couldn't the corporate media see through it? And the reason why is because they're corrupt and bought. And so we need truth tellers today. And the media and the establishment like to pay lip service to people like Jim Acosta and against, you know, Trump is saying that the press is the enemy of the people. But right now he's actually is prosecuting a truth teller and a whistleblower, Julian Assange. And most people have been silent about it. I just wonder, where do you stand on that?
First of all, shout out to Jimmy for asking the motherfucking question.
Right.
Yep.
Shout out for asking the question. Not very many people in independent media ask this question, and it's very frustrating. And this was 4 years ago even. So, and here we go. Ready? Here we go.
I go back and forth. I have a lot of ambivalence on the Julian Assange issue. Early on,
I have a lot of ambivalence.
I saw him as any whistleblower, and that it was very important, the function that he was, the role that he was playing, the function that he was serving. And I was very much aware of the fact that the system suppresses the whistleblower, like you were just talking about the mainstream media, the fact that people who used to get somebody who used to get a Pulitzer Prize for exposing something were just as likely to get fired today for having done the same thing. In this last election, however, clearly, it's not as clear to me, like who you're working for, Julian. Because why are you just going there for down on that campain, but not on the other campaign? So I don't know. I see both sides of the Julian.
When a journalist exposes a politician,
Jimmy's about to.
Fuck you.
Yeah, Jimmy's about to lay into her. That's a terrible answer. Are you serious? Like, that's a terrible.
This is just as bad as Jink. This is just as bad as
Who
like.
You working for,
he's working
Julian?
for the Russians now.
Who are you working for? And this is my problem with her. If she genuinely changed her mind on Julian Assange and she now actually does support him, great, fantastic. I'm super grateful for it. You should this is not a hard one to me. And people who get this so wrong, and this is a pattern of behavior with her. Like, to get it that wrong.
Right, but the thing is now, okay, she supports Assange. She supports Medicare for All. Great, because even that, she was kind of like, back then, she was kind of all over the place with that. She got her mind right on Medicare. But like, what I was talking about with Reed before we went live, if you go on Jimmy's show, he's going to focus on two things: COVID and Ukraine.
And maybe Russiagate or like something else. Syria will come up maybe.
The idea that she went on his show and like, if this was just a normal schmegular guest like us, like, I think we know a little bit more, but we're citizens. Like, we're not supposed, I mean, we should, but you're running for president. You're not able to speak in terms of foreign policy, especially how it's tied to Ukraine. You can't speak to COVID in terms of, and you can make that connection to universal healthcare if you want to. Like, but she came, I don't know what she was expecting.
I don't either.
Like,
she knows his position on these things, and she knows he's going to ask about them.
So she was just so unprepared for this. And it's like, how can you, as a presidential nominee, go on one of the biggest independent media shows probably in the country at this point?
Yeah.
And not be prepared to talk about it in a way that makes you seem like you actually know what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, let's play the rest of this. Let's listen to the rest of her response on the Julian Assange thing, and then we can talk about the new stuff, because I also have that queued up as well, because he fucking nailed her in one of these clips, dude. It's masterful. Okay, and listen, a lot of people are mad because
before we do that, Trey got sent us a super chat for $5 saying, "Love you guys." Just
love you too.
Thank you, Trey.
Thank you, Trey. What was I saying now?
You want to finish
finishing the Assange
clip. He nails her in one of these clips. Like, it's so good. But a lot of people are upset because he wasn't hard on I am too, not JFK, RFK. I am too. I wish he had been better prepared for that. Honestly, honestly, it's a little bit disappointing, just because I think that's likely the only time we would have ever had an opportunity. He's going to protect himself from being challenged on that as much as humanly possible.
Right.
So that might have been the only time we had somebody sitting in front of him to do it. So I wish that would have been better. But he does nail Marianne. There's no question about it. It's so good. Okay, so here, let me back it up just a little bit so we can figure out where we're at.
It was the role that he was playing, the function that he was serving, and I was very much aware of the fact that the system suppresses the whistleblower, like you were just talking about the mainstream media, the fact that people who used to get somebody who used to get a Pulitzer Prize for exposing something were just as likely to get fired today for having done the same thing. In this last election, however, clearly, it's not as clear to me. Like, who you're working.
It's not as clear to me. What the fuck? Clearly, it's not as clear to me. I don't even know what that means.
For Julian, because why are you just going there for down on that campaign, but not on the other campaign? So I don't know. I see both sides of the Julian.
So when a journalist exposes a politician,
he nails her.
Unless they expose that politician's opponent, they're immediately suspect, and they should be prosecuted.
No, I didn't say they're immediately. I didn't say they should be prosecuted. Are they immediately suspect? Is there a healthy skepticism that would healthy skepticism say, Why just one side and not the other? Yeah, I think that I don't see anything. I think there is healthy skepticism about that. But whether he should be prosecuted, first of all, we haven't seen exactly what they're going to prosecute him for. So
we have seen that actually. They're prosecuting him because he revealed war crimes of the United States through Chelsea Manning's release of those documents. So what they're trying to prosecute him with is over that. It's got nothing to do with the 2016 election. It has everything to do with and it's funny that war criminals are still walking around and going on Ellen and dancing with Ellen on daytime TV, yet the journalist who exposed their war crimes is now being prosecuted, and people running for president are ambivalent.
Remember earlier? I stopped it very specifically for that. Ambivalent. She says, I have a lot of ambivalence about the Julian Assange case. He calls her out for that here.
First of all, I don't think. Listen, I understand the Daniel Ellsberg connection. I don't think that it's correct to say about me or probably any other person that we're ambivalent about the fact that there are people, as you said, dancing on Ellen, who behaved criminally in terms of the Iraq War. I'm not ambivalent about that at all. I'm not ambivalent about the role of the whistleblower when it is someone who is exposing war crimes.
But you just said
the Julian Assange thing, for many of us, is a little not as black and white as you see it to be. But that doesn't mean that I'm ambivalent about how important it is not to prosecute someone who exposes war crimes. And if I come to see it in terms of that situation as you do, which is clearly that it is black and white, and I used to feel that way about him. I felt that way about him before this last election. Now I have to process this more and see what I think.
Well, the Obama administration's Justice Department declined to prosecute him. And the Washington Post editorial just a few years ago said the same thing, that so what would you say the difference between Julian Assange publishing War Crimes of the United States released by Chelsea Manning and the difference between Daniel Ellsberg and the Washington Post printing the Pentagon Papers? They're both publishers, correct?
I didn't think there was any difference until this last thing happened with the election. Now that you're saying that about the election, and that's where I'm still in process. Before this election, to me, I saw no difference. Until this election and what happened with this election and all the stuff with Hillary Clinton, I saw it as exactly the same as that.
What do you mean? You mean the cheating? You mean the rigging of the primary that Hillary Clinton and the DNC committed, and the fact that Julian Assange and WikiLeaks exposed that based on documentation that was given to them by whistleblowers, which is what journalists are supposed to fucking do? And what I don't understand. I don't understand what her issue is. But I mean, listen, she revised her opinion on this, and she supports Julian Assange now. She does do events. She goes to the big ones and all of that stuff. So she doesn't speak on it all that much. But I don't even know if it's in her platform. I don't even know if she has a platform. I haven't looked. I don't care. But
I mean, until she's
questioned, now, it's put me in a place where. Do you see what I'm saying?
So I see what you're saying, but that's
I'm taking it in. I'm taking it in.
I see what you're saying. What he did was he exposed the truth about Hillary Clinton, and what he's really accused of is telling the truth about Hillary Clinton. He didn't tell a lie about her. He told the truth, and that's what people are upset about. And he exposed Naritanen at the Center for American Progress as wanting to steal the Libyan oil to pay for our social programs back at home. They're all corrupt warmongers, and that's why they want to kill Julian Assange. So I would urge you to look deeper into this so we could use a voice like you to stand up for him.
But let me ask you a question. This isn't rhetorical. This is an honest question. So why wasn't he exposing anyone on the other side of that election?
First of all, I don't know why he didn't. Maybe he didn't have any materials on the other side. Who knows? But everything he published was 100% accurate. It was 100% true. And it was things that the United States public necessarily needed to know.
I get it. I hear you. I'm thinking.
Thank you, Jimmy Dore. I mean,
do you?
That's amazing. He nailed it. And y'all, she changed her mind. After this, she changed her fucking mind. She started supporting Julian Assange. He's now done that publicly that we know of with Tucker Carlson and Marianne Williamson. Tucker. So shout out to Jimmy Dore. That was good. He nailed that. Excellent. It was excellent. He did that very well. I remember cheering for that as I was watching it live.
Well,
like, yeah, Jimmy.
Their whole point is that because he didn't do anything for the other side, his reporting is then compromised. All you have to do is go, how is it compromised?
Well, and it's not.
And they got nothing.
Well, and it's not, because he has exposed lots of people on the other side. Hello, he's in prison right now because he exposed George W. Bush. Right. That's the other side.
Thank
I
you.
mean, he's exposed the entirety of them. And a whole bunch of other people around the globe, a whole bunch of other world leaders, corporations, you name it. I'm not saying he's perfect, don't get me wrong, by any stretch of the imagination. But WikiLeaks is perfect. WikiLeaks has a 100% record of accuracy. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So, and yes, listen,
Yeah.
okay, so I don't trust Marianne Williamson. I don't know if this is why. I don't care. You guys know me. I will use support wherever I can get it. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Sarah Palin. I don't care if it's Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't care. I don't care who the fuck it is. We can use that. So we do. So I don't care. I don't care. But I just don't trust her. I mean, she just, I mean, if you look at her, it's a book tour, right? It's a book tour.
Yeah.
So I think that she does, she's very shrewd about picking and choosing what she talks about and when, what's politically advantageous, what's going to sell books, what's going to get her more exposure. I think that's a lot of it. That's my personal opinion. Come from me or not, I don't care. I don't trust her. But again, I do have my personal reasons for that. Like, I mean, I've told the story before, but she was horribly rude to me in DC one time. She like showed up and gave a speech. There was cameras at an event. She showed up and gave a speech about how we need to do more. We need to get on the streets. We need to get louder. And then the next day I had not one, but 2 street actions planned and she didn't show up for either one of them. So I don't trust her just based on past behavior, relevant past behavior. So, but yeah, let's play this other clip though. Cause he gets her so good on, and I think I have it queued up to where he mentions Julian Assange because that's what prompted people to be like, do you remember what her past position? Yes, I remember. So I went and found it for you guys so we could play it tonight. Okay, so here's this one. Let's see. I hope I have it queued up in like a good spot. I don't know. All right, here we go.
Well,
This is just like your Julian Assange before. You're just as bad on this as you were on Julian Assange before. This is bad.
On Julian Assange before, I said I didn't know. I said I didn't know. And for years, I've been supporting Julian Assange. Okay. For years, I have been saying that I have gone to marches and I've visited with this Stella and I've walked around the Parliament building in London. I have definitely been in support of Julian Assange and for years.
Okay, well, good. Well, good. People know now. So now people know you're staunch supporter of the Ukraine war effort. So,
you know, it's funny when you say, well, you would say it's strong supporter of Ukraine war. That's your language. It is not mine. I am strong.
You a weak supporter?
Will you let me finish my sentence?
Sure.
I'm a strong supporter in the path to a negotiated settlement in which there is a Ukraine to negotiate. And what is happening right now, to me, is in a way a vindication of that view, because now real negotiations are beginning. And real negotiations are beginning because both Russia as well as Ukraine know it's not going to be so easy to get everything you want here. And I'm glad that Vladimir Putin is beginning to have countries like China now, for the first time, willing to attend a meeting like that, because he will be getting China, India, Brazil, and other countries, not just the United States, who are saying this thing has got to stop and you're not going to get everything you want.
So it's that kind of attitude that is getting people slaughtered in Ukraine. And it's that kind of naive, that's that kind of attitude, that kind of view of the Ukraine. The NATO and the United States are using the people of Ukraine as cannon fodder to try to inflict economic damage on Russia. And so this isn't about liberating from Russia. This is about us provoking.
They were already a country. There was nothing. We're not talking about the Donbass and Crimea.
So you can have this view if you want. It's odious.
It's interesting. So you think that the people of Ukraine and the way they've been fighting in this war are just doing that, just as puppets of the U.S. government? That kind of fighting, that kind of spirit, that kind of unbelievable fighting is only because of puppets of the U.S. government?
Yes, we are. So if you don't know what's happening there, that's fine. But to say that we're not slaughtering those people for an economic war by the West on Russia just shows a naivete.
How easy it is to propagandize people into going to war. How many times have we done that here? How many young men in this country, boys really, signed up for the military because of 9/11 or whatever, because of patriotism and because of this bullshit lie that we sell about how, you're protecting your home country and that, no, you're being used.
I just had a thought. Like, whenever we hear about Ukraine, who do we hear from? Zelensky. We don't hear from people on the ground in Ukraine about how they feel, generally. So
in
that's
the
my
mainstream for
question.
sure. Yeah.
Right. So that's my question is, how do normal, regular schmegular Ukrainians feel about this war? And why haven't we heard of anything from them?
I can
More
tell you that
likely because they're not
morale is
for it.
down.
I've
There's been
heard it,
reportings on
but
this.
you got to go
Morale is crazy
outside.
down. Everybody's starting to see the bullshit. It's a whole mess right now. No, people are like bribing officials to get medical deferments or to have get somebody to sneak them out of the country. None of these. A lot
Women
of
are
these,
selling their wombs.
yeah,
Right.
a lot of
We
these
talked
dudes
about that
wanted
on INN
nothing.
News last week. The idea that
Yeah.
surrogate families over here
Yeah.
are not forcing, but essentially there's a program where Ukrainian women are basically having babies surrogately, to make money. And they're not getting that much anyway. So that's something that Jeremy Lefebvre from the Gray Zone, shout out to him, reported on. But that doesn't sound to me like that's actually that's not a great thing.
No.
In the midst of war, and like the conditions that is like it's a prison.
Yeah.
Like having to keep like what was it, like 200 women and young babies in what is essentially a homeless shelter. Like,
well, and guys, just basic bare brass tacks. She just supports throwing these people to slaughter, throwing these people to the wolves, arming and funding Nazis. And she doesn't even really understand the context of what's happening. Like, she is a very superficial, at least from what she's saying here, she has a very superficial level of understanding of what is even happening there. Like, she bought all the bullshit, all of the bullshit. She bought hook, line, and sinker. And that's a problem. Again, it's the same thing with the Assange thing. The idea that she had that ridiculous of a position on it. First of all, he's not even being prosecuted for 2016 in any way, shape, form, or fashion. So the idea that would play any bearing on how she feels about him being prosecuted for exposing war crimes, to me, she just doesn't understand how it works. You know what I mean?
I'm not even going to give her that, because she was been on RBN a few months ago. They challenged her on this way back when was it, like in the spring? You would think that
the mansplaining
would
thing?
They were mean to
evolve
her
positions when they talked to her about it since then. Like, she trusts, well, at least at that time, she trusted Nick, she trusted Stabby. They were giving her.
Did she?
Well, I'm just saying, like,
really.
she felt she had favorable view of them, at least
They were nice
at
to
that
her
point, in order
before.
for them to go in their show last minute.
Yeah.
When she announced, and they were sharing this regarding Ukraine back then. You're telling me that she haven't been able to kind of look into it more since then, to kind of send this bullshit now?
Maybe she has, though, and that's what I'm saying. Does she genuinely not understand it, or does she understand and she is just playing politics? And I'm not sure which is worse.
No, I think she's definitely playing politics here. Otherwise, like, just given the fact that she's running in the Democratic Party, she still wants access to them.
Y'all.
She still wants access to them. More specifically, she wants access to all, like, certain politicians that will look to her somewhat favorably, whatever book she has, or whatever she wants to do as far as her career. She still needs that access in order to make herself somewhat relevant. So she can't, like, really full out, like, be in opposition of Ukraine for the people who are, like, essentially leading the charge in order to kind of promote this war. So she knows exactly what she's doing.
Gross.
It's gross.
It's gross.
It speaks so much to, like, so many other issues too.
Yeah.
What's her Assad take? What's her take on us killing Gaddafi? What's her take on?
And I would like to know her take on
Syria.
mandate.
What's her
and
take
I would
on?
like to know her take on. I would like to know her take on a lot of things. I would like somebody to ask her a lot of questions. I don't think she's gonna avail herself of that again. She's probably trying to get nothing but friendly interviews.
This shit, these issues are so interconnected everywhere, between Assange, between this.
She's not great on Israel.
She's right.
If you support us being the world police in any capacity, you are fucking odious by nature and get the fuck out of here.
I got no time for that.
Like, that's not our job as a country anymore.
No, it never should have been.
Like,
it never should have been.
Right.
It never should. We don't get to tell other people their business. I think it's so arrogant.
Right now we're going to use nations in Africa by way of France to slaughter other nations.
Can we go into that, please?
Hold on. Let's finish this because we're going to get distracted. Let's finish this, and then yes, we can talk about that because we need to get through this because he nails. We haven't even gotten to the part where he fucking. I like, as somebody who is friends with Jimmy, I was so proud of him in this moment. Like, it's so good, you guys. I love every minute of it.
About the situation, and it's too bad. It's too bad. So you sound just like, you sound like MSNBC and CNN on this, and it's too bad because that's garbage.
Yeah, that you talk to someone who doesn't agree with you, like by definition, and we're stupid. But that's okay. Is there another subject?
Okay, no, that's fine. That's fantastic. Come see our live shows. We're going to be in Chicago, Rosemont, Las Vegas.
Did I do it? I thought for sure I did it in the right spot. God damn it.
Is it on another clip?
It might have just been earlier, maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe he clipped it. I don't know if he does the whole thing for the
whole bit.
Yeah, because he does it live, but then I think he keeps some of it for just premium members. Like he cuts, you know what I mean? The live show. But
you can always go and grab those
from Twitter.
Nick tweets. Those might have it.
I don't know. Such a pain in the ass to find.
Yeah.
Somebody in the chat find it for me.
So they do work for us.
Well, I mean, listen, there's some people in the chat. If like everybody's working on it, somebody will find it faster.
Right.
Yeah. Which one are you looking for?
The one where she says that she doesn't think that the money that was being spent on Ukraine, if it wasn't being spent on Ukraine, would be spent on homelessness in this country. And he said,
I think that might have been, if we go back to that clip, I think she might have said that there.
Oh, did she?
At the beginning.
Oh,
I think.
I just missed it. I was listening to
Ronnie
other
Graham tipped $5 on Rockfan.
Who did?
Marianne is a narcissist. She could Ronnie Graham. Marianne is a narcissist. She could care less about people in Ukraine. Assange, look how she treats her staff.
Yeah.
She cares about Marianne.
Yeah.
Crab is saying it's in the Ukraine clip, so I think it's earlier from where you started from, Misty.
I know Nick had it, like the actual clip of it, but was it Nick or was it no? It was CJ that I saw it on.
Yeah, it's Nick. I think it was Nick. I saw Nick put it out.
I'm pretty sure CJ did too, because I'm pretty sure I saw it from CJ.
Yeah, you look for
that.
But
I could be wrong.
But yeah, I mean, it's just par for the course for politicians.
Well, I mean, I can tell you what they say. She says that she doesn't think that money would be spent on homelessness if it weren't being spent on Ukraine. And he says, well, why do you think that is? And she said, because spending money on homelessness doesn't feed corporate interests. And he was like, so then you're saying that the war just feeds corporate interests. And she kind of stopped and was like,
and then she tried to backpedal and say that if we took away all the money from Ukraine, it still wouldn't go to homelessness. And it's like, I'm sorry, what?
No, it wouldn't. She's right. If we weren't spending that money there, it would definitely not be spent on homelessness. It would be spent on some other conflict.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't stop putting it there.
No, for sure. Like, but I understand her point. I understand what she was trying to say. But what she was doing was just proving Jimmy right about the fact that this war is not about the Ukrainian people or humanity or democracy or any of the bullshit that she's buying into. It's about using the Ukrainian people as cannon fodder, throwing them to the front lines, untrained, unarmed, in terrible circumstances, to be slaughtered in a proxy war against a nuclear power in an effort to weaken them militarily and economically. That's what that is. It's a fucking racket. And while we're doing that, we're lining the pockets of Boeing executives and Northrop Grumman executives. And that's what it is, Marianne. It has nothing to do about our love for the Ukrainian people or our need for democracy the world over. No, we're killing people for profit. And you support it.
So she thinks Bill Gates and BlackRock should be able to buy up large sums of farmland and property in this area while we ravage it militarily, or
that's what she's supporting. And I don't know if she really genuinely is naive enough to believe the bullshit she's spouting, but it's bullshit. It's 100% bullshit. And people and the reason that's able to continue is because people like her lie about it. or maybe she's not lying. Maybe she genuinely believes it. I don't know. If she is that dumb, she needs to not be running anyway. Like Kennedy, I think Kennedy knows.
Yeah.
I think he knows what he's supporting. He's not dumb. Maybe he is. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know him. But I think it sucks if you actually support that shit.
I think he's definitely pandering to a particular,
for sure, there's some of that,
like, group, but you know, which is weird because he's running in what party again? And who's he trying to pander to?
I mean, Democrats.
Like, you're not going to get those votes. They're closed primaries. Like, it's not like you can pull Republicans over.
You're running as a Democrat.
So, like, you're hoping all the right-wing Democrats
that alone
who don't like the border and don't like people coming over the border, and you're trying to relate that into an entire human rights thing, which it is, but it's also stems from the drug war and so on and so forth. But there's not an issue with people necessarily coming over the border. Like,
well, there is.
The people are not the issue.
There is a cause to that issue, and it's a very layered set of circumstances. And that's what's so frustrating, is that all of this stuff is very superficial. And I don't know if they just think that people aren't smart enough to have that conversation, but I think it's really not that difficult. And I think most people, when they're made aware of what's actually happening and why shit goes the way it goes, it's not that difficult to follow.
I mean,
you know what I mean,
when he's out there with, you know, the border patrol and cowboy hats with their big truck and guns, like that's a whole image you're trying to make for yourself. And I hate to tell you, a lot of Democrats are like, those are cops and we don't like them.
No, I don't know. I don't think the average Democrat, I think,
how does he feel about the rest of the police force?
No, the average.
Well, I mean, actual people who used to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah, actual Democrats support
the real lefties out here.
Well, those are not Democrats.
Yeah,
I don't do labels, but I certainly would never do a Democrat label. That's not even almost where I stand. No.
No, Misty has high standards and partners, so definitely wouldn't do a Democrat.
No.
What?
Did you find that section?
No.
That you're looking for, Misty?
I can get them.
Yeah, I guess I could look at the transcript at that. I could find it that way.
Or if anyone in the chat knows if it's in that clip,
where is it?
You can give us a timestamp.
You got put in a ton of threads we're in, so I'll find it.
Where the fuck is the transcript here? Maybe there isn't one.
Hit the 3 dots.
Oh, I don't usually do this on my phone, so. Oh, okay, I see. I mean, I don't usually do this on my computer. I do this on my phone, usually.
Yeah. I think it's in here. And if I scroll up.
Oh my god, it's so hard to read. This tiny little stuff.
So hard to read. Control F and put in like.
No, I'm already scrolling now. Like I'm in a zone.
Okay. Control F will let you search, FYI.
Oh, it will?
For people at home who want to find things. Okay, I think I got it.
Yeah?
Yeah, here, I'll put it in private chat.
You just play it if you want.
Yeah, that too. Move.
You run the show, fool.
Yeah, I think.
Allegedly.
I pretend to, at least.
Allegedly.
You know? Really trying to let Misty do it.
Look at my huge-ass water bottle,
yo. Where the fuck?
Huge-ass water bottle. Dude, I'm
cool.
Obviously
what you got in there? You got Cool Air in there?
No, I'm obviously not sponsored because I don't think anybody in their right mind would sponsor me. But the Coldest is the brand. These water bottles are awesome.
Yeah.
Like the ice stays in there forever.
I like them
2 days.
Hydro Flask.
2 days. It's
also pretty useful.
Yeah, it's so good. They have all different kinds of sizes. This is just my gym one because it's fucking hot in there right now.
Hydro Flask, when you fill them with water, they feel like you could murder someone with them.
Are you gonna play that?
Not.
Or did you put it in? Because it's not in private chat.
On it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got it. I just don't know which one you want first.
I think it's better than Yeti, personally. Dr. Nick. But that's just my opinion. I have a lot of Yeti stuff. My husband gets a lot of Yeti stuff at work, but I just bought one of these on a whim, and I like it a lot.
How do I do? I go here. That's what I do. And then you're not what we need. You go over there. There you go.
The fuck, dude.
Because of that's
so you're still
you know that, Jimmy.
So okay. So you're the one who said the reason why we don't take that money and give it to homeless people is because of corporate corruption, and that's why we take the money and give it to corporations
right after
in the form of military aid to Ukraine. You're the one who just said that.
That's why she's explaining.
So you're for corporate corruption in Ukraine before we fix homelessness.
Can I get in there? I mean,
yeah.
That's the one that happens after, right?
Yeah. No, right before that is when the conversation I'm talking about goes down.
They're also out there being pro-war. So that's the biggest issue right now. As we said, how much money do you think we should send to Ukraine? We sent over $100 billion while there are people living under every bridge in America, and 80% of workers live paycheck to paycheck. How much money do you think we should have sent to Ukraine?
858. We have 858 billion that goes into our yearly defense budget. So the overspending by the military is a huge issue, of which Ukraine is a small part. And the fact that we are not funding the people of the United States and the actualization of their dreams is, to me, basically the reason I'm running. But I don't see that as dependent on whether or not we're spending money on Ukraine.
So $100 billion, which they say could end homelessness 4 times over in the United States. That's not a lot of money.
That's not the issue. The issue is that you could say that about any of the money that we spend on the $2 trillion tax cut that should be repealed, where 80% of every dollar went to the highest earners and the richest
he's
corporations.
asking specifically about
billions of dollars we give in
Wait, pause. It's
subsidies
hard to
to
hear you too.
corporations.
Say that again.
What?
No, she's go ahead.
We say that.
Yeah, we do say that too. But he's asking specifically right now about Ukraine funding and if she thinks it is okay to send that kind of money to Ukraine, knowing it is one of the most corrupt countries on planet Earth, knowing that the weapons that we are sending there are ending up in the hands of criminals, as always happens when we flood one of these regions with weapons, gets into the hands of some very nefarious people. And we know that that's happening. We know that that's happening. And yet she still supports sending even more money and even more weapons into Ukraine. And that's what he's asking her about. And she's deflecting, well, this other thing, and what about this? And what blah, 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 tax cuts. And that's not what he's asking you about. Answer the fucking question.
It's like, do people forget all that crap about debates, all the obfuscating and deflection and like how this operates?
That's what this is.
These are standard political tactics.
Yes.
Anyway.
Go ahead.
That are already making billions of dollars. Plus the fact.
So why do you think it is that we can, at the drop of a hat, send $100 billion to Ukraine, the most corrupt country in Europe, but we can't fund our own homelessness in America? Why do you think that is?
Because funding homelessness in America does not serve anybody's corporate bottom line.
And so this war is for corporate bottom line.
Definitely on this one, it is true that this happens to be making money for Northrop Grumman, Boeing, and
so it's not really about helping the people, because if it was about helping the people, we'd start here first, right?
No, actually,
listen, Jimmy, we start over. We start over.
No,
sit here and really, and you're gonna.
I'm sorry, I gave you a tough question. Now try to answer it.
Not about that. I do not believe that if only we were not supporting Ukraine, all that money would then go to help the homeless in America.
That's not the point.
Yep.
That's not what he's asking you. The deflection is real. He fucking nailed her there. Seriously, so good. So I wish he would have gone in for RFK that ready.
That's really
damn it, that would have been awesome.
Right. That's why I sent.
Yeah.
I think I put a tweet about this week, just basically being like, well, it's funny because no one that I know of really has spoken on this interview at all, because, you know, like I figured the spin would be, oh, Jimmy was harder on Marianne than he was.
Some people have been saying
which is
that.
True. Which, yes,
and
I would argue
true,
that
for sure.
But I've noticed no one's really, like some of the larger channels or like the shitty ones are really talking about this, because what are they going to say about this?
They could deflect away from the substance and just talk about the fact that he was so mean to Marianne. But bringing attention to it means more people will watch it, and it is so abundantly clear.
Right. Which is why they haven't said anything. Which is interesting.
Mm-mm.
And yes, you're right, Missy. I wish. And
I wish. Look, God damn it.
Look, that's not to say any one of us should know everything.
No.
But Jimmy, look.
He's just one of the only people that's going to have that chance. I do too. I love Jimmy.
But I'm sure Jimmy is aware of the shit that RFK has said about Israel.
Yeah.
You couldn't do a little bit, or even better, you could have had Max on with you.
I don't think Kennedy would have agreed to that.
I don't think, well, I think even in that would have said something right there. But you can do some research.
Max would have prepped him. I'm sure Max would have prepped him. Max could have sat down with him and given him some. But I don't know if he had to have known, because Kennedy has been on the I'm Israel's Best Bitch tour for months now. So he had to have known that he was going to come in there spewing a bunch of ridiculous garbage bullshit, genocide apologia, essentially. So it is, seriously, I love Jimmy. I do think it sucks that he was not hard on RFK. I think that it's just disappointing, because again, I think he's likely going to be the only person who ever has that opportunity face to face to hold him accountable for that absolute fuckery.
Right.
And it sucks.
And he might not get it again.
No, I don't think he will.
No,
I don't think he will. He's going to run from Max. He's going.
And that whole interview was just disappointment. Mainly.
Yeah, he is going
from Jimmy
at this point, very carefully choose who he sits down with, I think.
Yeah. No, I think he was already careful, but now
Jim
he's
Jam,
really going to be now.
I know you're watching. I know you're sitting there drinking your Negroni and smoking your bowl. Look, you had a rule, and you can gaslight me and tell me you didn't, but I remember, and other people remember, that you said no more Democratic politicians on the show. You were fucking right.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Stop doing that.
Yeah.
They're using you. You're not using them.
To be fair, though, I said that about politicians in general, and I have broken that rule. So, I guess you shouldn't say no.
I'll give some a shot.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not, and I still, even when I talk to politicians, I'm very clear about the fact that I think that what you're doing is a giant waste of time. But I do like some people who are running for office, and I think that they're good people and they're activists.
If you're going to have a politician don't be nice to them. It's not like adore, oh, we love you, and no. Give them the opportunity. That's your opportunity to ask them tough questions that they may not necessarily get from mainstream media. Your goal is not to be nice to them. Your goal is to try to extract some truth from them, but also to kind of help your audiences try to figure out if they're legit or not. I'm just getting tired of all these.
It doesn't matter if they're legit, though. That's the thing.
Right, but all the same is if you're gonna have them on, make it count. That's all.
If I'm gonna have somebody on, I guess I can't really say that, because I'm having Dr. Shiva on, which I debated so hard about, because I just don't like politicians. I mean, no offense to anybody, nothing personal. It's like I told Christina Livio in DC when we were there. I'm like, listen, as a person, I like you. As a politician, I'm gonna side eye you every day of the week. I don't trust you. You know what I mean? It's an immediate, you know what I mean? I just can't. And so I've had people like Shahid Buttar on, because he's like an activist, right? I see him as an activist. He just so happens to be running for office. And we have had legitimate disagreements on my show where we have kind of debated the futility of electoral politics. And so I'm always very clear about that. But I like Shahid. I don't think you have to be mean to politicians. You can be nice. I think Matthew Ho. I've had Matthew Ho on. He was running for what was it, Senate in North Carolina.
Yeah.
And he's an activist, and he's an Assange guy. And so I mean, I was nice to him. I didn't feel any need to go after. So I think you don't have to be mean to somebody. But
you don't have. No, I don't think you have to go full fire and fury with
even those who go in with trepidations.
Use the opportunity to, they should be asked
tough questions. If there are tough questions.
If there are, there are, and especially being in the space, we hear a lot of this stuff all the time. We're essentially like the proxy for a lot of our audience who will never have the opportunity to ask those questions that we have the opportunity to.
Yeah.
So we should take advantage of that as best we can.
Especially with somebody like Marianne or Robert Kennedy Jr.
Right.
who are running for president, and you know what I mean?
Right.
Like yes, I agree with that.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. And for those two, it holds more weight than running the fucking president.
Yeah.
Like you have to have your game on as far as foreign policy.
Yeah.
And if you're shit on that, why are you running for president?
Yeah.
And I think especially in this country, we're so focused on domestic policy, which is fine. But as we're seeing,
foreign policy is domestic policy.
Exactly. And that
I'm
kind
so
of
tired of people who know that not knowing that.
Right.
You know what I mean? I know people know that.
And vice versa.
I know they know that. And yet they're out here pretending as if they don't know, or it's just so frustrating. It's so frustrating. It is so frustrating. Foreign policy is domestic policy. If you don't think that what's happening around the world right now isn't going to come home soon,
right,
you're very sorely mistaken.
Right. Look at what's happening in Niger. Yeah. You don't think that's not going, and I said this on my show with Reef early in the week. You don't think what's happening in Niger is going to affect us too here?
Everything affects us.
Yeah. Like right now, Hawaii is on fucking fire.
Yeah,
like we had that.
So sad.
We had, the Montgomery brawl that happened last week that went viral. We're having this issue with Niger right now. And we need to talk about that a lot more because that's another war that potentially that we will get our foot in.
Oh, we're already in.
Yeah, but we're already in.
For a long time.
Yeah, right.
We've been in there for a long time. We've been fucking with Africa for decades, y'all. Decades.
And it just makes me so mad that not even in independent media, we're talking about this issue a lot more than we should.
We should. I've talked about it some. To be fair, I have covered it. I've talked
I know some, but I think and I know people have talked about it some, and that's great. I'm not necessarily knocking that. What I'm saying is that we need to make the connection of, as we said, like, I think because people are thinking, I think like the idea, especially in Africa, is all these little poor countries have no significance to us.
Yeah.
That's what's making me upset. It's the idea of like, France is after mostly uranium. That's what is providing their energy in Europe. And given that we blew up the Nord Stream pipeline in Russia now, like France is fucked right now.
So, that Africa pipeline looking real spicy right now.
I got my notes from my show the other day. Hold on. So they account for 20% of the uranium supply, which provides roughly 70% of the country's electricity in France.
Right.
However, 1 in 7 Nigerians have zero access to modern electricity.
Right, which is, you can argue basically all of sub-Saharan, and I know that personally, having lived in Uganda and visiting like over the past decade. And this is what people need to understand. It's like, washing yourself is not guaranteed. Yeah. Like, having electricity is not guaranteed. It can go out just whenever you want. You can't,
or you just don't have it.
Right,
1 in 7 just
or you don't have it. So it's like, you don't have light. You can't cook anything. You can't go and like, once it's out, and you have no idea when it's going to come back on. That's the reality of many sub-Saharan Africans right now that people do not necessarily know or understand. So the idea, like, the West is trying to exploit a lot of those resources that Africans are not guaranteed to get in order to ensure our lifestyle here, like, that's all the way fucked. And so that's why you're seeing a lot of these coups happening in Niger right now. Basically, like, people are getting fed up and now are beginning to strike back now, which I think is a beautiful thing, honestly, right now. So, but it's the idea of like, we just think in terms of these issues are just isolated from each other. It's just like, oh, what's happening in Hawaii and what happened in Alabama and what's happening in Africa and what's happening in Ukraine. It's what's happening in time. Like, we just think, oh, these are just, it's all connected, people.
Yeah.
Like, we really need to do a better job in ensuring people, like, for our audience to make sure, like, there is an uprising happening right now, or it's been happening. but all these pockets of distress among the working class just all over the world, like this is the beginning. I hope this is just something that is going to be more ongoing, but we have to be more aware of like what's happening in Niger is going to affect our pocket. Like I said this on the show with Reef also, like, and I just happened to see this article in Yahoo this week. Amazon is planning to have another Prime Day event in October. Like,
did they already do one this year? Is that what you're saying?
No, they typically have one in July.
Oh, okay. So they're doing two?
Yeah,
they're having two.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they just had one last month. They're having planning to have another one in October. Why? Holiday season. Mm-hmm. People have no money. So they need to try and make sure that people are able to have enough time to buy the holiday gifts when everything is still so fucking expensive, to ensure that they're going to meet their bottom line. Meanwhile, gas is going up.
Well, they're going to meet their bottom line. Amazon's not hurting.
And you think that, like, if we're going to Niger on behalf of France, that things are not going to get worse?
It's all getting worse. That's what I don't understand. Like, y'all, it's just all going to continue to steadily get worse. I mean, and that's why they divide us, right? Because it's so much easier if it's these little pockets of distress that they can contain. You know what I mean? Right. It's so much divide you, and then you know.
And it's like, honestly, I get why we're talking about Marianne and RFK and even Cornelius. I get that, but at the end of the day, it's like they are so insignificant right now. Like, you're talking still. You keep hearing these people say we shouldn't focus on electoral politics, but yet, like, RFK, Marianne, Cornelius, they're the trending topics.
They do get talked about a lot.
Like, what more? Like, and honestly, it's like, what more do we need to know about Marianne at this point that we like?
It's not about that. It's easy. All of that stuff is easy. It's easy clicks. It's easy. You know what I mean?
Right in front of you.
It's right in front of you. It's very general and broad. It's not It's not really all that difficult. You can take a side and
it's harder to do real shit.
It's harder to cover like real. I mean, and I realize that we're talking about it here tonight. Only reason why I did is people asked me about the Assange thing, and also I wanted to show Jim because I was just really proud of Jimmy because that was fucking a great moment for him.
It's bitch. We can bitch about what we want to.
I'm not apologizing for it. Fuck you guys. But like on my like. I understand what your point is though, because like a lot of people focus on this shit all day long, and you just can't. You can't. Like, there's so many other things to talk about.
I don't fucking care that AFC is talking about sunscreen. I don't care.
No.
What more variations of suck do we need to know about AFC or any of these politicians? I don't care.
If you go back through our backlog of INN news segments, how many times have we ever mentioned Jimmy in a title?
Maybe twice.
Like,
I never
twice.
do. I never.
Maybe if.
Well, every once in a while I might mention.
I don't even think that.
Like on his birthday, I said happy birthday. We rarely mention. Does that count? I don't. I never talk about Jimmy. I really don't talk about on my show. I very rarely talk about Marianne Williamson or RFK Jr. There was like that couple weeks where the RFK stuff was really hot, and I was super pissed off about it. And I did talk about it a lot then. I'm still super pissed off about it.
I mean, that makes sense. It's not. It wasn't so much about RFK.
That's about Israel. That's about Palestine. That's about he's out there lying to people about what's happening there, and he has a massive platform. And so I think Zionists should be called out all day, every day, at the top of your lungs.
So
you know what I mean?
The issue around RFK, like in regards to that, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Like, that's one thing. But just to kind of
fine to call her out on her Ukraine support. But just the drama, Jimmy Dore did this, or Vanguard or whoever said, I don't give a fuck.
The Hill said yada yada. Like, who cares?
I don't care. Like, that's the thing that annoys me even more. Forget the RFK, Marianne Williamson nonstop coverage, is the interpersonal beef coverage. Like, Vanguard's fighting with so and so. Let's talk about that on our show. Who gives a fuck? I don't give a fuck. I don't care who's got beef in the independent media space. I do not care. I don't care. I don't care who you like. I don't care who you don't like. I don't care. People have like come to me because they have beef with somebody else, and I don't give a fuck. That's your issue with them. I'm still gonna be friends with them till they piss me off. Like it's I hate all that shit. The interpersonal beef, it drives me nuts.
And then the people like Jordan Challenge, which I was sharing with you earlier, like holier than thou. Oh, we must talk about these important issues, like because no one talks about them. I do all the reporting. He was on fucking Vanguard this week, I believe, doing a clip about Cornel West with the Vanguard,
which he said was an
and he's going off on
channel.
RBN talking about like how they talk about the drama. Right. You're with the two people who promote the drama. Talking about more drama.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anybody who is more drama than Vanguard, honestly. They're TMZ. At least, to be fair.
Yep.
At least they admit.
I don't really watch them.
Right.
And I've just seen a lot of the clips and stuff. They do admit it.
Credit. They admit it, and they are running in that lane. Fine. It's your show. Do you. But I'm tired of people like Jordan, who's like, oh, we need to talk about these issues
and then
regarding the working class. But then, like, you're going on the Vanguard when you're calling out RBN for talking about it's their own network. They can talk about whatever they want to.
Yeah.
Because you're ending up doing it, but that's okay for you.
And
that's okay for you to go on the two people that, or promoting the drama. Such bullshit.
Yeah. He's not the only one covering anything. I'm so tired of people saying that. It drives me crazy. If you think you're the only person talking about a thing, you are unbelievably arrogant. There's somebody else out there, I guarantee you, talking about the thing. And it may not be enough people. You can argue for that. Absolutely. I mean, listen, I don't think enough people talk about little Leonard Peltier or Julian Assange or a whole host of issues. But, you just need to I'm just tired of people policing what other people talk about. And what people cover and all that. I mean,
I mean, everyone has a right to cover what they want. It's their channels,
and you get to
country. You have the right to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But like I was talking about this with Reef and Indy this week extensively. It's like, and I'm saying this because this is what I was told before I got into the space. Like in 2021, when I was in the process of me being scared of like doing this and talking to people about this, like about the idea of doing this, one of the biggest things I heard from a lot of people who were doing this was they were like, don't spend your time talking about the trending thing.
Yeah.
Like it's just overly saturated with these topics. Try and find your own lane and make yourself unique in the space that will give people a counter to what you're seeing. That's what I was told, now almost 3 years ago. And a lot of the same people now who were telling me that are now doing the shit that they told me not to do. That's what is making me really upset. Yeah, it's easy, but like, just because
I'm not excusing it. I'm just saying that's why. It's just easier. It's so much easier.
No one is covering the important topics of how the sunscreen in America is not up to par.
Yeah, I forget. I think it was Monarch. Monarch said they ignored the whole thing. Me too. I saw everybody commenting on it. I'm like, who gives a fuck? I just don't care. I don't care.
So yeah, we should be talking about Assange a lot more. We should be talking about what's happening around the world a hell of a lot more than we are. And like, but that's not what gets money. That's not what gets views. That's not what gets clicks, and like, I'll just say this, for me, because we are very conscious of this. That's why we don't, and you probably guys have noticed that's why we generally don't cover a lot of that shit, because our thing is like, you want to see it, you can go to another channel and see it. We don't need to rehash a lot of what other channels would say. You're gonna at least get from us like something different, something that's a little bit. And I have to shout out for Reef because he's very good at getting a lot of these obscure like stories that most of the time I'm like, where did you get this from? He's actually he and Indy have actually helped me, find various sources that are counter to mainstream media that we're able to report on stories that are.
He means I've turned my ADHD into weaponized algorithm use,
Right.
and
I mean,
can find things.
right. Like, just
Yep.
shout out to you and Indy for actually forcing and pushing me to find different outlets to talk about and find different stories to talk about that do relate to, you know, the working class and like what's going on globally and whatever else. Like, so I have to thank you too for actually,
We gave people
you know,
awards.
like, you know,
Misty and
and
Indy
Misty, you know, like you're
got
one of the first
together.
people, like other than Richie Medhurst, who talked about Assange, but the idea of your effort, like, has helped me learn more, you know, about Assange. Obviously, you know, just with your friendship with you, but like your, and I say this because you've been hyper focused on Assange, which is needed.
Yeah.
You know, and like
that's me using my ADHD powers.
Right.
Good.
But like we need experts in this shit, and it's like.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't care if you like, because a lot of people rag on Jimmy for focusing so hard on COVID and Ukraine currently, and I'm like, but I want people to do that. Like, I want if you're, it's fine to have general channels that cover a multitude of issues, but I also like those people who like really focus in on a thing and they know their shit.
Right.
And you like that can become like your go-to source for that thing.
Right.
And I think that's totally needed.
That's,
and I mean,
that's
I do focus a lot on Assange, but because I'm ADHD, I can also do my show where I'm talking about something that is completely different 5 days a week. You know what I mean?
But that's what's more. But that should ideally is what we should have in independent media, is that they can go to you for Assange, they can go to Jimmy for COVID, like they can go to INM for some. Like I think kind of known on like labor stuff generally.
I do those, so
you know, but like we should have our thing that is connected to the working class, not like these electoral bullshit. That, and I'm not saying all of it is not necessary.
People can cover it. There can be people that talk about it, like, and that's just not going to be me.
Right, but it's like, don't make that the thing that you're known for when, as I said, Hawaii's on fire right now. Like, you know, like people are losing their jobs right now. People are like, you know, we're struggling out in these streets. And we know mainstream media is not going to cover all of that. So we have to be the ones to do that. If we're covering, you know, Marianne or RFK and Cornell and like all these electoral things all the time, what makes us different from, you know, MSNBC or Fox News, who basically do that 24 hours a day? Like, if you're going to do all that, you might as well have cable and watch all that shit.
For real. Okay, hold on. I got other things. I'm getting distracted. I have other things. This is important. This is important. This is very, very important. Fuck, where am I?
Okay.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Here we go, y'all. The Assange effect. Okay. So, the Kansas Reflector. Police staged chilling raid on Marion County newspaper, seizing computers, records, and cell phones. This is fine. In an unprecedented raid Friday, local law enforcement seized computers, cell phones, and reporting materials from the Marion County Record Office, the newspaper's reporters, and the publisher's home. His home, y'all. Eric Myers, owner and publisher of the newspaper, said police were motivated by a confidential source who leaked sensitive documents to the newspaper, and the message was clear, quote, mind your own business or we're going to step on you, end quote. The city's entire 5 police officer force and 2 sheriff's deputies took, quote, everything we have, end quote, Myers said, and it wasn't clear how the newspaper staff would take the weekly publication to press Tuesday night. The raid followed news stories about a restaurant owner who kicked reporters out of a meeting last week with U.S. Representative Jake LaTurner, and revelations about the restaurant owner's lack of a driver's license and conviction for drunken driving. Meyer said he had never heard of police raiding a newspaper office during his 20 years at the Milwaukee Journal or 26 years teaching journalism at the University of Illinois. Obviously hasn't heard about the case in Australia. That was crazy. Quote, it's going to have a chilling effect on us, even tackling issues, end quote, Meyer said, as well as a, quote, chilling effect on people giving us information, end quote. But just to point out, this newspaper has never once covered Julian Assange. I'm just saying. The search warrant signed by Marion County District Court Magistrate Judge Laura Villar appears to violate federal law that provides protections against searching and seizing materials from journalists. The law requires law enforcement to subpoena materials instead. VR did not respond to a request to comment for the story or explain why she would authorize a potentially illegal raid. It's not potentially. I'm pretty sure that this is illegal. So yeah, you guys can go check out the story.
Yeah, why do they even have a fake reason?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so.
They're putting up?
No, I don't think so.
Like, why would they why'd they do this?
Because they think they can. So here, this is my favorite part, this last sentence here. That's basically what they're trying to do here.
They're going to have something.
Okay.
Like, what do they have on that police?
I don't know.
So
he says that's basically what they're trying to do here. The intervention is just like the repressive government of Egypt. I didn't think it could happen in America. Really? Because it already kind of is.
Okay.
I'm just saying. The United States of America is currently torturing journalist Julian Assange for publication. Again, they've never covered that.
What's the Friendly Jordies video I sent you on Assange?
If it's an older one, I've seen all this stuff. Trust me, anytime somebody covers Assange, I watch it. Like, I'm looking for that stuff.
He did it like a few weeks ago, so you might not have. I sent it to you. You can watch it later.
I've probably seen it.
It was all right. It was all right.
I like him. He does some good stuff. He does some funny stuff on it.
He got like his house firebombed or whatever.
Jake Tran
long ago, right?
Did a good video on it a while ago. Is that the right? I don't know if that's the right name.
I think he also did one on
it was a while
what
ago.
happened.
It was pretty good.
He's like a political guy in Australia.
It's the only video of his I've ever seen.
Funny.
Oh, Jordy? No, I've watched Friendly Jordies.
Yeah.
Andrew's obsessed with Friendly Jordies.
Yeah. He's good, dude. He's got some like. He's in the establishment bubble a little bit, like as far as sources, but otherwise.
Yeah, he does some good stuff though, and he's friends with David McBride. Pretty
close.
If you're a friend of David McBride, you're a friend of mine, in my opinion. I love me some McBride. Yeah. By the way, reminder.
What else you got on the list?
Reminder: his trial starts in November. Everybody. So anyway, barring any delays or what other shenanigans they could come up with. So November. I don't know what day.
What's the next?
I'm not sure if there's a day yet. I'll have to look.
We're still waiting for extradition, I guess, right?
Yeah. So again, we're still waiting for the judgment on the request for appeal. Still, there's no fucking timeline. There's no like deadline or. There's nothing. It's just a perpetual state of wait. And that is, ladies and gentlemen, a form of torture. Leaving Julian Assange in that situation.
Literally, even the Catholics are like, we got to pay to get out of
There's no fixed end. There's he has no idea what that's a form of torture. And it sucks. And he's been going through that for over a decade. Like, there's just been this perpetual shenanigans. That's exhausting. Okay, so I do have. This makes me giggle. You guys are like this. This is not really bitching. This is just me gonna be me making fun of John King, and that's always a good time. He's such a turd. Okay, so here's John King complaining because
when you hear the Ukraine exchange there, it's like watching the open of an old Tucker Carlson show. He's not there anymore, but that's what it is. And these are busy people. These are hardworking people. There are too many Democrats who want to say they're deplorables or why talk to these people. There are millions of them. This is a family that literally is an economic anchor in the community. The business started in the basement, employs 80 people. The new solar company employs 15 people in a part of the country that has been devastated economically and challenged economically the last 25 years. They're good people. They raise money for the Girl Scouts. They go to church. But they believe things that would break our fact-check machine. That's just a fact. And they don't trust us. They think we're part of the problem. When you hear
good sir. Nobody should trust you. You are part of the problem. And your fact-checkers are garbage. And they lie to people and they manipulate people and they propagandize people and you fucking know it. Well, maybe he doesn't. I think he might be one of the dumb ones who genuinely believes that he's like doing good.
No, he knows.
No, I don't think he does.
He knows.
I think he's done enough.
They got paid to go to good schools.
No, I don't think that matters. I don't think that matters. Smart people are not all that bright, if you know what I'm saying. Like,
no, I know.
I think he has done a very good job at making moral justifications in his head over the course. He's been there for a very long time. So I think he's done enough mental gymnastics that means he's convinced himself that he's doing good.
Willfully ignorant at best.
Yeah. Yes.
Like he's choosing.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. But nobody likes you, dude. You suck. You lie. People don't trust you because you lie. That's why they don't trust you. You lie. That's reality. and they shouldn't trust you at all.
It feels like there used to be like some rational person somewhere that would go, the American people don't trust us. Well, let's think of all the reasons why they might not. And they would make a list and go through it.
I think
somebody would take off their glasses dramatically.
Yeah, the people in charge know.
They'd try to figure it
The
out.
people in charge know.
Yeah. Like,
they're trying to manage those
just,
perceptions as best as they can to keep just enough.
Well, who was it? I think it was Chomsky who was being interviewed or interviewed some reporter, and the reporter was like, well, do you think I'm bought? And Chomsky's like, that's not how it works. Your mind was already right.
If you didn't believe the things
they
that
knew
you believe,
the product they were buying,
you wouldn't be here.
Right.
And those people,
you wouldn't
CNN reporter, you are very much selected because you are of a certain mind, because you believe certain things, because you're willing to go along with certain things, because you fit the mold for that, what is needed for that position. And they're all awful. They're all fucking awful. There's not a single decent person working at any of the major networks. Not a single one.
No.
And I will say, shout out to Matt Lee. Anytime we talk about mainstream media, he works for the AP, and he is really the only like pseudo mainstream journalist who is worth anything at all whatsoever. And he is often awesome. So shout out to Matt Lee. There aren't many. He might be like a lone soldier there. There aren't many who work in that world who are worth anything at all. They're terrible. God damn it.
Yep.
One of the greatest threats that we face.
And any ones who are thrown out.
Yeah.
And they go elsewhere for labor.
Yeah, and then they work at RT or the Gray Zone or whatever. John Pilger just became like Craig Murray just became like a blogger or whatever. John Pilger's a blogger.
I say what they do is you just become like a nightclub DJ. So in between songs, you could be like, and free Assange. All right, back to the like I would be down for that, you know?
Yeah.
Like
you probably get a lot of support in the college campuses. You go to some college parties and
right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think we've missed a huge opportunity trying to get into college campuses for Assange. I think that's a monumental support base that's just waiting to be educated about what's happening. You know what I'm saying?
Think outside the box. Little tabs of acid with Assange on the face. I mean, I'm just saying.
The only thing is a lot of colleges are very liberally based.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, but
I think there's a lot of potential there, though.
In that way. Like that's how a lot of movements, at least in the last century, started. Was through the university system, and that was struck down basically by Reagan. Yep. So
and yes, there's a CIA epidemic in media and government. Right. Yeah, so, they don't even hide it anymore, y'all. They just hire straight up schools as paid contributors.
They're not going to do anything that would give more of an uprising, especially for young people. Although you can argue with Gen Z, that's kind of changing regardless. But like, they're not going to promote anything that will be
and it's a global problem with that.
Yeah.
We've seen Alan McLeod talk about, the infiltration of CIA operatives into King's College.
Yeah.
Let alone the rest of the colleges in the country. They're running things like the history department and the political science department, and they're molding these kids
everywhere.
And then they recruit those people, and they recruit the people who appear to be the most progressive so that they can sneak them in to the movements they want to keep an eye on. We know a few who got recruited at some college, like Fun Fair or whatever. Like
Carrie said,
CIA put donuts
Carrie
out.
said the university can be typically white liberal but have radical students. Yes, that's absolutely true. But how effective are those radical students though at many of those colleges? Like I made this comment.
It's not necessarily the college's
I made this
fault,
comment,
fault.
a few months ago at Howard. Like Biden came to speak at their graduation ceremony. There should have been no way in hell that he was getting all the claps and all the praise that he was getting at Howard, given what he said about Black people, given the promises he has made to Black people. There should have been, and from what I reported, there was like maybe a handful of people who were trying to not go with the Kawinki thing, but the fair majority of them, basically followed suit.
How much for a degree? They're gonna get that degree,
right?
All you gotta do is walk across the stage now and listen to some dumb old guy read off a prompter.
I would not. I'd walk the fuck out.
So
right.
Yeah.
Send me my degree, bitch.
Like, yeah,
I'm
mail
not
me my
here
diploma. Right, yeah, I'm good.
I'll pass on that. Actually, I probably would have protested it.
Yeah.
I would have actually physically and vocally protested it.
At it.
Yes.
100%.
I'm not gonna sit here and listen to fucking Old Lang Syne or whatever the fuck I had to play for 19 fucking hours at high school graduations 4 times a year.
Fuck that guy.
Like,
nope.
Oh,
thank you.
Fuck you. Fuck that.
All right, you guys want to make fun of Linda Yaccarino?
Like,
I would like to. This bitch,
fucking
man.
Girl boss.
This bitch. Y'all, okay, first of all.
Girl boss. Girls get it done.
First of all, can we just talk about the fact that there are still far too many people out there simping for Elon Musk? Can you please stop? It is beyond my ability to comprehend. This dude is not your friend. He doesn't give a fuck about free speech. He's not fixing Twitter. He's making it worse.
Nice.
And now y'all are sending them your banking information. There are people who have been complaining about the World Economic Forum and the Great Reset and CBDCs and all this other stuff who are literally sending Elon Musk their financial information. Sending them their banking information so that they can get content creator compensation. Y'all, he wants to turn it into the everything app. It's fucking WeChat or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck?
Well, I mean,
what the fuck?
So is Facebook.
I know, but like,
I mean, they literally copied the shit.
I don't see a lot of people simping for Mark Zuckerberg. I see a lot of people that should know better, pretending still as if Elon Musk is some like cool billionaire who's gonna like save free speech.
I see some people rooting for the Zuck in this fight with Elon, but
that's different though. That's stupid too. But that is legitimate bread and circuses. Are you kidding?
Can I take either of those places? I really would love to be in a cage with one of those for like 5 minutes.
I don't know, dude. I'm pretty sure Mark Zuckerberg would fuck you up. He trains. He trains.
So do I. And I got a lot. I'm a much higher weight class than that guy.
He's much taller
I
than
do
you.
too.
Better reach.
Not by much.
Are you kidding? He's like
I've also dealt with people like that.
Like, he's huge. He's really tall.
Yeah, let me get one double leg and put him in the mat and see if he goes anywhere.
Okay, I'm just saying, that dude. Like, I don't know what the fuck Elon's thinking. Mark Zuckerberg doesn't fuck around. He legitimately trains. Like, real talk trains.
Yeah. Yeah, he's hanging out with fucking Lex Friedman, Gordon Ryan. That's not necessarily training either. It's rich guy training. Like,
I don't know.
Not hard sparring all the time.
Yeah,
he's
probably not.
Like they're setting him up to make him look good in those videos for sure.
Oh, for sure. But he does train.
The guy who really trains is what's his name? Ed.
Nothing, right?
Ed Hardy. Ed Hardy trains.
I don't know who that is.
That motherfucker. I wouldn't step into a ring with that guy.
I don't know who it is. I don't know.
Zuckerberg's hands are shit. So.
All right, let's make fun of Linda Yaccarino.
I've seen him.
But seriously, stop simping for Elon Musk. He's not your friend. He's not your friend. It's not a thing that's going to happen. But listen to this bitch, guys. Here we go. You ready? Here we go.
Staggeringly, they take it down. And that reducing that hateful content from being seen.
First of all, what's hateful content? Somebody define it for me. I want to know what the stipulations are. I want to know what the guidelines are. I want to know what into making that definition. Who got to make that definition?
Stream with Marianne.
Was it a board? Was it a group of people? Was it just Elon Musk that gets to decide what hateful content is? What exactly does that pertain to? Do jokes count as hateful content? How do you decide? None of that has ever been defined, but they just throw that out there. Hateful content. What the fuck does that mean? Nobody knows. So
is one of the best examples how X is committed to encouraging healthy behavior.
I don't need you to encourage my behavior. Thank you. I'm a grown-up. I can decide how to behave for myself. Thank you. I don't need you to encourage my behavior.
Online. And today, I can confidently sit in front of you and say that 99.9% of all posted impressions are healthy.
How do you define healthy, though? Is porn healthy?
Porn. The porn bots, y'all. The porn bots are out of control. I have never had so many porn bots in my mentions as I have since Elon Musk took over. It is out of, Scott Horton's dealing with the same thing. It's out of fucking control. I've had to block like probably 500 porn bots over the last like 6 months or so. They're all over the fucking place. Are you looking for a good time? No, Jillian, I'm not. I don't. Who the fuck are you? You know what I mean? Like, it's just so stupid. But yeah, 99.9% of impressions are healthy.
No.
Tell me more, bitch.
Are conspiracy theories healthy?
Conspiracy theories.
You know, it goes back to my point about our success with freedom of speech, not reach.
Freedom of speech, not reach. We've heard that one before. So that means you're allowed to say it, but they're allowed to shadow ban you if they don't see it as being worthy of being seen.
Yeah,
they get to decide.
Elon said the same thing.
Oh, I know that since I'm shadow banned.
Yeah, this has been out for. Dude, I tweet about Assange. I've been shadow banned the entirety of my Twitter existence. Okay, so we've heard that before. Freedom of speech, not reach. New platitude just dropped though. Ready?
It's if it is lawful, but it's awful.
If it's lawful, but it's awful. So legally, you're allowed to say it, but they've decided it's awful. They're going to shut you down. They get to decide that you are going to be shadow banned and nobody's going to see your posts.
Oh.
What the fuck is that?
Like, if it's lawful or it's what?
If
what
it's
was
lawful but awful, they'll shut you down. So regardless of whether or not it's legal, like you didn't say anything that's against the law, you didn't incite violence, you didn't nothing illegal.
But it's awful.
But who defines what's awful?
Exactly, it's the same thing with hateful content. Who defines it? What does that mean? What are the parameters? Who was there a vote? Did somebody vote on what this meant? What is included in this? Are jokes included in this? Or what? None of that's ever defined. It's very vague, and but that's what I'm saying. And people are sending them their money.
Killing Russians is okay, but Ukrainians, no. Like,
you can advocate for war and blowing people up for profit, but if you are mean to AOC, you might get shadow banned.
Yeah, that's violence.
Yeah.
Words are violence.
Words are violence, yes.
You know?
This is fucked up. Okay, so she continues a little bit.
It's extraordinarily difficult for you to see it.
But how many millions of people follow Kanye West?
This is a dumb
Lawful
example.
but awful. And he's allowed back on.
You know, Kanye, who hasn't rejoined the platform yet, but is planning to do so, will operate within the very specific policies that we have established.
She's saying Kanye West is just going to listen to us and only tweet what we tell him he can tweet. Have you met Kanye West?
Who?
You really think Kanye West is just going to go along with your stupid guidelines? I'm going to say I doubt it. That dude says whatever the fuck he wants.
No.
That's been made clear. Oh.
Established that we're clear on, that everyone who's watching this or listening on Spaces can access themselves. And we have an extraordinary team of people who are overseeing, hands on keyboards, monitoring all day, every day.
Who are they?
To make
who are they? How do they decide what these words mean? And
they're such good people.
Yeah, I want to know who they are.
They're
I
tremendous.
want to know what the definitions of these terms are. I want to know what's included. Remember, Elon said that there needed to be more transparency at Twitter. Where's that? No, they're just throwing these crazy platitudes at you and silencing you and shadow banning your lawful but awful content. That's what they're doing. Send them your $8 though.
Make sure that 99.99% of impressions remain at that number. But we also have to remember what's at the core of free expression.
Now, this I agree with.
You might not agree with what everyone is saying. We want to make it a healthy debate and discourse.
What define
free
healthy?
Expression at its core will really, really only survive when someone you don't agree with says something you don't agree with. And what a great place we would live in if we were able to return to a healthy, constructive discourse amongst people that we don't agree with.
When was that a thing? That's never
right. That's never happened. That's never happened. There's never been a time in history where humans have just been able to have this beautiful, perfect debate about issues that nobody gets heated. Nobody says things that are, maybe a little bit out there. There's never been that time. There's never been that time. And you don't get to define what that means. You don't get to define what healthy discourse is. Healthy discourse it looks lots of different ways. There's no one definition for that. Different conversations can be had in different ways, and you can reach different conclusions and different outcomes that could be positive or negative or both. You don't get to define what that means. You don't get to define what conversations we're allowed to be having and how. Sorry, you don't. And yet here they are. And again, send them your $8 though, guys. It's fine. It's fucking nuts. This is nuts.
Yep.
This is nuts.
And
it just keeps getting worse.
The fact that she first like excused like censorship.
Yeah.
Then she wanted to say, yeah, but we shouldn't, like, censoring people we don't agree with is bad. And we got to listen to those people. Yet you're willing to censor. Like, you can't completely
that was a lot of words to say nothing.
That no, like you talked far more. Like that little segment about free speech at the end was like 2 seconds compared to, well, we should be able to censor lawful but awful speech. But
but free speech.
Like we're not supposed to. Yeah. Like it's bad.
Oh,
right.
So fucking.
But we got it. Like. Oh,
I'm so tired. Like, again, I'm not like big upping myself here. I'm just speaking from my own personal annoyance and frustration at this. Lots of people have been warning you for a very long time. Not you guys, but you know what I mean. Lots of people have been warning that this is where we were headed. This is, news offices getting raided and cell phones and laptops and stuff being taken and all that stuff based on stories that are in the works or whatever. That also happened in Australia. I mean,
journalists being detained at borders just because they
in his
fly
home
through them.
country. Being detained at the airport in his home country for hours, being interrogated about his journalistic work. We told you.
I also mean people like Fee
and here it is.
Gray Zone peeps.
Yeah.
Who, they get their phones taken for 3 hours.
Max was arrested. Whole SWAT team came to his house. What the fuck?
Right.
I mean, this is
like little old Max. Like, what is he gonna do? Tell some people that it's bad.
He's pretty buff. He's not really. He's not.
No, but I mean, compared to the team of SWAT guys,
for sure.
Like
that's not okay ever. If you're going to talk to a journalist, again, a journalist who was covering a thing, and you're sending a SWAT team. What the fuck? But yeah, this is what we've been screaming about for years, and here we are. And I take no joy in that whatsoever. I would love to be wrong. I'm not. I'm not. Here we are. It's happening. That shit it's only going to keep getting worse.
I just mean, like, they're worried about us, and we all know we have like zero power.
Right.
Like they're worried about people like Max and Jimmy and Fee, and like the only thing we're capable of doing is telling people it's bad. Or the truth. Like that's not that big a deal.
It's funny how people go crazy
so much
over,
already.
Like Jimmy and Max and Aaron, and like Jimmy is a fucking comedian. I think people forget that.
Yeah.
He's never said he's a political analyst. He's a comedian. And yet you guys are like
go to no journalism school.
Right. And you guys are going off on him as if like his word is gospel or whatever. Like he's somehow a threat. Like Jimmy doesn't have to do what he's doing. Like he can pretty much
he is a threat.
Yeah, but like at the end of the day, like he's still a comedian. It's not like he's like on mainstream media, like being a political pundit, who I argue are more dangerous to in a lot of ways, but everyone is like going after him, and that's not to say we should agree with everything that anyone says, even in our space, as gospel.
I don't agree with myself all the time.
Right. Like, yeah, Reef knows this. I don't even agree with myself. Like,
I change my mind all the time.
You know, but he can tell you that all the time. He talks to me pretty much every day. But it's like, but the focus on those guys versus the actual people that really
have power,
right, is like ridiculous.
It's beyond ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's absurd on so many levels. The idea that people are throwing a hissy fit on, again, it's easy. The Jimmy Dore hate, that's easy. You know it's going to get clicks. Drama gets clicks. You know it's going to get, like, that's a very easy thing to cover. Easy thing to talk about. You know people will watch it. And it's no work. There's no work involved. You don't have to do any research. You don't have to do any digging. You don't have to do any, connecting of dots. There's nothing. You don't. Easy as could be, right? You just talk about Jimmy Dore drama. Bam, done, and you get clicks for it.
Dude,
and
Jimmy is not going to start a revolution. The dude's got a degenerative bone disease.
Yeah,
like
Right.
I can't imagine him trying to storm anything.
And long COVID.
You know?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, he's
like
vaccine injured. Are they calling that long COVID?
Yeah.
Is that also long COVID?
I think that's.
Well, he
I'm
defined,
not sure if
he
that's.
tweeted out that that's what he has.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
So-
similar symptoms.
Yeah,
essentially.
so I'll give him that. But yeah, I mean, obviously, whatever. Like,
Yeah, the idea that anybody is that, y'all, people, again, the idea, okay, Jimmy Dore, hugely popular, influential, okay, people have multiple accounts dedicated to me, guys, I'm some chick in
Right.
Ohio, and there are people who literally follow me around Twitter to bitch about what I'm tweeting about. That's their entire existence on Twitter. What the fuck is that? I don't know what the fuck is that? It's so
What even is that?
It's so bizarre to me. I am a nobody. I'm fully self-aware of that. I host a tiny radio show on a up-and-coming, brand new, very small radio station. I hang out with you guys.
Not even in this country.
Not even from this country.
Like.
Oh yeah, like the last time I was on Misty, it took me that long to realize that TNT is not even based in the
No, it's based in
Yeah, fucking
Australia.
Aussies.
Australia.
Right.
That's exhausting too.
Yeah,
The
fucking
time
Aussies,
difference
mate.
and trying to remember like what
Right.
the time change. Oh, I hate time differences. The whole time zone thing makes my head hurt so
Yeah.
bad. I hate it. Trying to schedule guests from around the world and figure out like, oh, it's exhausting trying to think about all that stuff. But
The
yeah,
worst.
like I don't understand. I remember somebody tried to insult me by saying that because I have like 1,400 subscribers on the bitch channel, and they were comparing me to Graham Elwood, and I'm like, wait, you mean the dude who's been on YouTube for like a decade has
Right.
more subscribers than me, who's had this channel for a few years, and I put no
who
offense to you guys,
does a
little to no effort.
Every
I do a
3
stream
days.
like once a month, he does a stream
Right.
like every couple of days. I do like maybe I'm supposed to do one a week, but it very rarely happens that way because weekends are tough with kids. And I'm like, really? That's your insult? I'm like, and what's funny is I get about the same view count. My videos. And yes, my trolls are fucking relentless. They are relentless and dumb as rocks. Oh God, it's painful. It's still to this
Some
day
of them
my
can't
favorite.
even form complete sentences.
I know my favorite, but still my
Please
favorite troll
just-
story of all time was when Reality Winner got released from prison. And everybody was freaking out on Twitter, like, oh, Misty hasn't tweeted about this. I guess she doesn't care about Reality Winner. And it turns out, y'all, I was literally on the ground at a rally handing out buttons for Reality Winner that I handmade myself. And that's why I didn't tweet.
Right.
I was actually hosting an event where Gabriel Shipton, Julian Assange's brother, in fact, made the announcement at our event that Reality Winner had been released from prison. And I'm like, you guys are so stupid. Oh, painful. They're so dumb. And yes, some of them can't form coherent sentences. And it's painful how obsessed. Oh,
Do you think they
so
have like little
stupid.
shrines set up to you in their closets?
Maybe.
You know?
Like, what are those dolls called?
Like
What are they called?
Voodoo dolls?
Huh?
Voodoo dolls.
Voodoo, yeah.
Yeah,
maybe.
voodoo dolls.
Maybe that's how I hurt my knee.
Yeah.
Somebody's got a voodoo doll. But yes, they do make bad memes.
I mean, that's the best doll you hope for in a shrine. Honestly, I'd much rather it not be like a real doll or voodoo doll, cool. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
They
I'll
do have
stick
an
with just
image built
vengeance
in their
and not.
heads. Yes, you guys, there's
Yeah.
one troll. Actually, I think it's one person that runs multiple accounts. But this one person, they literally have invented things that I have said that I have never said. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I think that one time claimed that a lot of people claim that I supported Tulsi. Never happened. But so that's not surprising. But there was something else. They said that I supported somebody, or I said, and I've literally never said the thing that they claim that I said. But there's like this whole, they've invented this whole version of me in their head that doesn't exist, and they're just mad at that. And I can't control that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I can't help you if I can't be responsible for like the me you invented in your brain. I can't. You can
Everyone's a
have that
critic,
argument with yourself. It's
and the
exhausting.
critics do nothing but critique.
I'm
So
okay with
you know.
criticism, but just
Yes.
and there's plenty to criticize me on. Plenty. Listen, I am
Constructive.
incredibly hard on myself. I'll give you a list. You know what I mean? You don't have to make shit
Yep.
up. It's just not necessary. I talk too fast. I talk too loud. Sometimes I get things wrong. I mean, I supported Bernie Sanders. I supported Barack Obama. I mean, I could go on. There's lots of things you
Yep.
could criticize me on. Lots. You don't have to make shit up. I promise. Hit me up. I'll send you a list.
Right. Yeah,
Trust
like,
me. And there's
like we're
nothing
all
you can
super
say to me.
self-conscious.
There's nothing you could say to
Yeah.
me that I haven't already said to myself worse times 10. So you don't, it doesn't faze me. Especially, I don't know you, and
You mean-
I don't care what you think. If you're not somebody in my immediate circle, I don't give a fuck what you think about me. I do not care. I gave up caring a long ass time ago. If you're somebody I know, trust, respect, love, I care what you think of me.
Yeah.
If you're
Then
not,
I give a shit.
I don't give a fuck.
Yep.
I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can be mad.
Yep.
I just laugh.
You mean Misty
Be
has
mad about it.
self-awareness and isn't a complete narcissist? Holy shit. Who would have thought?
I have an overabundance
know?
of self-awareness. Frankly.
Yep.
It's painful.
It's called hyper-awareness. I know it well.
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
not good.
like, yeah, the ruminating.
I hate
super
making
good
lists,
time,
Indy.
guys. Great
You
time.
know I hate making lists.
I know. I hate lists, but they work. But I hate them. Why?
I know I like lists.
Why?
I just forget them. He's talking about like when I'm on Twitter and I complain because like lists of people to follow, or who's your favorite people that cover Assange, and I'm like,
Yes.
oh, I can't because I'll forget somebody,
No,
and then I feel
I just hate lists.
terrible. No, I like lists.
Don't give me a list of shit to do.
I make lots
I don't
of
need to
lists and
make
then
lists.
I lose them, or I leave them at home when I go to the grocery store, or I do like lists though.
I just hate them because that's responsibility I've made for myself, and I don't need more of that.
No, I like
You know,
them.
like
It calms me down when
I'll just forget
them.
something. It'll be all right.
For sure.
I'll just forget half of what I was supposed to do.
We could yell at my kid right now and she'll tell you. I always forget at least one thing every time. It's a running joke every time. Usually more than one. I did go to the store today though, and I'm pretty sure I got it all.
The Toad and the Frog.
The
Toad and the Frog
like when
books?
I was a kid.
Frog and Toad.
There's there's Frog and Toad. Yeah, there's an episode where like I scheduled this whole thing about what we're gonna do today, and then Toad is like, we could just not follow the schedule, and Frog's like, yeah, it's like that's my brain, like we could plan things. Nah, we're good. You know, we'll just ignore all that planning. So
I do like making plans. I'm just like I like if we want to go on a vacation or something, which we haven't done in fucking years, but I like researching different places. Like, where could we go? Where's cheap? Where would be fun for the kids?
Oh, that,
like, where can we stay?
That
I like
drug
that.
of a new hyperfixation.
Yeah,
that's hot shit.
That is hot shit.
You know,
Dude,
that's dopamine, baby. I
There's
love that.
nothing better than a new
That's
fixation.
sweet dopamine.
It is like cocaine.
Oh,
We'll
buy a new 3D printer? No, that's not. No.
See that whole the 3D printer thing that overwhelms me. That seems very complicated. It makes my brain hurt. So I'm not interested in that. I like simple.
You're all right.
Keep it simple. Keep it simple, stupid.
You like pencils.
I don't like technology. So to anything technology related, I immediately my brain freezes and I'm like, no, we're not doing that. That's not a thing we're gonna do.
They've gotten way better. There's some that are just like toasters now. You just plug in the thing on your phone, hit the go button, and it does it. You're like, oh great. You know,
like I got a Cricut. I
they
still
used
haven't
to be
figured out
really
how to work it.
hobbyist and. Oh, dude, I can help you there. Like, give
I
me
need
that.
to.
Just send
I
it to
would like
me.
to
I'll
make
use it.
shirts. I want to
Use the
make
shit
shirts
out
for
of it.
protests and shit. That's why I got
Stickers,
it.
shirts.
Yeah, I could just make that shit. Although then I will just be bitching
So-
about that, like I bitch about making buttons, but it's cheaper. You know what I mean? Trying to save money. I don't think people realize how expensive it is to do protests and like get shirts made and buttons made and stickers made and all that stuff. Oh, so much money, you guys. I've spent so much fucking money. I have spent so much fucking money. So much. It's ridiculous.
So
It's ridiculous. Like, has caused disagreements between myself and my husband numerous times because it's a lot of fucking money. And he gets it, but he gets annoyed and frustrated. And as do I. I'm tired of paying for that shit, honestly. Tired of it. Sorry, I'm just over it. Over it. It's like tens of thousands of dollars. You know what I'm saying? A lot.
Misty's lost shirt fortune.
I need to start a shirt company. That would be like heaven for me. I would love it. I love shirts. I would love to like start a shirt making company and make all of indie, not all of indie media, but indie media merch for us. You know what I mean? Be the person that makes the shirts and sends them out to the people.
Sure.
But that would require
somebody
me, like,
we know has got to do good merch stuff like that.
No, but I want to do it. Is what I'm saying.
You know,
me. I want to do it.
No, I know.
I want to do it.
Call up Roger Waters. Be like, look, let me run your shirt shit. Don't worry about it.
I wish.
Just give me monies to do things.
I got to grow my shirt collection. Yes, exactly. I can feed my addiction and make shirts for the people.
Yeah.
Win-win.
Yeah.
I don't see any
like
bad
selling
side
heroin,
here. It is.
you know?
I'm not okay.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
gonna
good.
count my shirts one of these days so that I can, because we keep talking about it, and I don't think you guys realize just how bad it is. It's pretty bad. So I do.
Well, you gotta like categorize them into like shirts I wear.
I'm not that organized.
That don't are too old shirts.
No, I have shirts that are well past the point of
like once you count them.
Yeah, there's a lot I should probably get rid of. Although I did find, my sister sent me a link to this company that if you send them like the fronts of your shirts, your old shirts, they'll make a blanket out of them. That's amazing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, let's do that. And then I can still keep my shirts in a way. And that'll also give me an excuse to buy more shirts because I had to get rid of some to make a blanket. That'll be my excuse anyway, my justification. Every time I get a new shirt, my husband's like, "Are you kidding?" Like, no. I got rid of my Bernie shirt. I still have a Tulsi shirt somewhere.
I should get one of the
lately.
INN shirts and do like a tie-dye one with it.
I have a Jill Stein shirt.
That'd be good.
I have a Mike Gravel shirt.
You can burn that.
Oh, I also got the
She's
Mike
all right.
Gravel, the Pentagon papers, the rolling papers.
Nice.
And he called them the Pentagon papers, and he sold them for his presidential campaign. I had to. I was like, I cannot not get those.
I think I still have.
I had to.
I still have a set of Bernie's, like the Bernie
what?
rolling papers. I still have one of those somewhere.
I don't think he did. He didn't do rolling papers. Somebody might have made them, but it wasn't official campaign stuff.
No, somebody made them for that.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike Gravel was an official campaign. That was great. I couldn't get. I had to get them.
Is there anything else you want to bitch about?
Is Colin? You can go. You trying to end the show?
No, I'm
no.
I'm just checking because you said you had a lot you wanted to do. So
no, we did get through it all.
Oh, okay.
I think. Marianne.
Cool.
Yeah, I think we got through it all. Yeah, this was just CrossFit shit I had pulled up. I don't think anybody cares about CrossFit. Except for me. Yeah, I think we got to it all. Pretty sure. Let me check the chat.
No one else probably does.
See if there's anything we missed. Oh yeah, Indy. There's a Indy INN merch shop. Indy put the link in the chat.
Yep.
I
did, I think.
I was the second person to buy the Bong Father shirt after Indy. I should have wore that actually.
Yep.
I have it upstairs.
That one's good.
Yeah. I think that was the first shirt you guys did.
I need to spend some time on the merch store and sit there and do stuff. Why have we not made you some shirts? We need to do that.
Fit shirts?
Sit down
we can do that.
or whatever.
We should do "We're fucked" shirts.
You know.
We should do
Yes.
the bitch logo. I've had a couple people ask me for a bitch logo on a shirt.
Yeah.
They like the logo. So I don't see anything in the
that.
chat unless I missed something. I'm sorry. I'm really bad at the chat stuff. We just talked about this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I am shit at the chat.
Gamers wearing a Batman shirt.
Crickets. I like Batman. Crickets look pretty cool. I used to have an old one and I knew how to work that one. I don't know how to work the new one, and I got it for like Christmas, not last year, the year before. I still haven't figured it out. It's just sitting there. I feel guilty.
Just got to upgrade to the laser cutter. It's like a advanced cry cut. You know,
I think that's what wood. I have.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, my husband got me the fancy one, whatever that is. Anytime I ask for something, he gets like the most extravagant version of it, and I'm like, that's not necessary. He's a pain in my ass.
Can you like etch with it? If it's laser, you can do like laser etching and stuff.
I think again, dude. I don't know. I haven't even taken it out of the box, homie. Legit, it's just been sitting there collecting dust, making me feel really guilty because I haven't.
I just need to move in at your house. That's what I need to do. You got all the cool stuff. You know?
I do. I mean, it's because I have ADHD and I just buy shit sometimes that I don't really need, but I'm like,
oh my God.
Nicole Vance just got here, gave us a $5 super
oh yeah,
chat.
super chat.
She's one of our members.
Hi,
Love from KY.
Thank you, Nicole.
Yep, appreciate you. Yeah, we got to get to work on some merch stuff. We'll
somebody
meet up
said they want a logo shirt. That might have been somebody. I forget who asked me for a logo shirt. Oh, damn it.
Yep.
Somebody on Twitter. A couple people on Twitter have asked me.
Shirt idea, Misty's bitch.
Misty's bitch.
That one's gonna be. I got to figure out the graphic on that one. You know, I feel like leather will be involved, but you know,
who's to say it needs a graphic?
It doesn't need a graphic.
No.
Sure.
Misty's bitch would be funny. That's a very niche request, though. Yeah. Like maybe one person will buy it.
And then you need a shirt,
or a shirt
with like an arrow that says like "my bitch," you know, and then everyone else is gonna have Misty's bitch. That's the way it works. And you can show up as a whole little bitch group.
Oh, that's funny. I wish we could all get together, like in the same place. Let's honestly.
We'll get there at some point.
One of the biggest reasons why, not one of the big, I mean, I would do them anyway, but I love, one of the biggest reasons why I love protesting is because we all get together in the same place with a bunch of like-minded people doing the thing, getting it done. I love that. I feed off that energy.
Next time you're in DC.
Well, I'm kind of over it right now.
Well, that's basically it. Every time Misty's in DC, I generally see her. So
yeah.
Right. What was that?
That's a given at this point.
Sandwich shop went on strike.
Who did?
Only compliments.
Oh, compliments only. So
only
that's
compliments or whatever.
Sandwich shop in DC.
Oh.
That went on strike.
Sandwich shop in DC went on strike. What was the one that you did that like you guys finished out A for A with? What was that little restaurant?
Oh, Politics and Pros.
Oh yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, they were pretty nice. I like Tabard Inn a lot. That's where Randy does the stand-up for Assange events usually. It's like a really cool old building. I like it a lot. We had breakfast there, Kendra and I. We didn't realize it. We've been to Tabard a gazillion times. And then last time, Kendra and I got a hotel room together. And we ended up being literally like right around the corner from Tabard. And we didn't even realize it. Like we just on a whim, we're like, let's map where Tabard is, because we didn't pay attention to where we were or what was going on. We were just trying to like get shit done, and we were like, oh my god, we're literally right around the corner. It was so cool. We walked to breakfast before the Rage Against the War Machine. Was it Rage? Yeah, before the Rage Against the War Machine rally. That was fun. That was a good time.
Alan's gonna take everyone to go get Baijin food because I'm down.
What?
I usually don't have a lot of time.
That's not a thing. That's not a thing. No. That's not a thing. At best, you're gonna get Jamaican, or at best just Caribbean, but not like.
I'm down for that too. I'm down for that.
And that wouldn't be.
What was the one we were talking about the other day?
You wouldn't be
Ethiopian food.
Oh yeah, that's plentiful in DC. Well, more Maryland, but like just over the board.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's plentiful here.
Hey.
So, although
Yeah,
I've
that's dope
been
shit.
told like, and I should ask because I know families at my school who are Ethiopian, obviously, but I should ask them because they've said, you know, some of the Ethiopian places that are in DC are not really that authentic. So I should ask them where.
Yeah. Well, everyone should go check out Shanda after this over at Roar
Yeah.
Media. He's doing a show, I think.
Solo tonight. So go hang out with her in the chat. I'm going to bed. I'm old and tired.
Tomorrow night. How do we miss that?
Yeah.
We got Chris Legion coming on, so that should be good. Monday, we're doing Miko Peled.
Well,
any
yeah,
questions you want to ask Miko
we're not
Peled?
sure
Misty?
if it's going to be pre-recorded or live. I think we're thinking maybe pre-recorded.
I interviewed him a while ago. He's cool.
Yeah, I'm actually really looking for it.
Yeah, he knows his shit.
Yeah.
He's good. And he's got not going after Kennedy, but he's like, that's people keep telling me that Kennedy, if you just talk to him, he's willing to listen, he's willing to change his mind. I know personally many people who have reached out to him. Scott Horton sent him like a whole ass chapter of a book on the issue.
Right.
You know, and he's ignoring all of them. He's not willing to listen very clearly, or he would sit down with Max Blumenthal as he said he would.
Right.
He's not going to do
that. Not even Max, just somebody.
Anybody.
Not to be anybody.
Anybody.
Like, you know,
literally anybody other than Rabbi Shmuley.
Right.
You know what I mean? Talk to somebody else, homie. You need to surround yourself with some better people. That dude's a scumbag. Okay, next week on the show.
Dennis Kucinich can even direct him?
Huh?
Dennis Kucinich can direct RFK?
Honestly, I am heartbroken by Dennis Kucinich. It is disturbing beyond measure that he remains on that campaign. I don't understand what the fuck he thinks he's doing. It bothers me. I am a Ohio girl. I love Dennis Kucinich. There's no reason why he should be standing by Kennedy as he spews the absolute garbage, lies, and smears.
Yeah. Unless Kucinich is looking to benefit for his own.
Well,
that's
again,
what a lot of them do.
He's getting a paycheck, probably.
People on the Bernie campaign, and then a lot of them I knew personally too, like on the Bernie campaign in 2020. And the moment that he dropped, like they went ahead and started their own businesses, and so like one of them essentially admitted to me like he was using the campaign to kind of as a jump off point for his own business. Like
percentage?
No. I won't give him. I won't say his name, but like someone who was affiliated with the Bernie campaign, who I
a lot of people use Bernie for that. Yeah,
like who I happened to meet and actually liked. But the moment that he, like, the campaign was over, he kind of went on his way.
I know who you're talking about.
Now is doing a successful business now.
Yeah.
So just using a campaign as a job, that's typical in DC. It's like use the people that you know to get your own jump off.
Yep. There's a lot of that.
So.
All right. So next week on my show, Monday, we might have George Galloway. I don't know. Like it's not been, I would feel better if we got like a confirmation. Like we kind of had confirmation, but not a confirmation. So I don't know if I've ever been more nervous in my life to talk to a guest than I am about George Galloway. Vanessa Beeley always makes me nervous. So I don't know, but yeah, George Galloway.
Shipton on too, right?
That doesn't make me nervous. I've met him. No? He's cool, very nice. I know my shit on that front, on that issue, so I feel very comfortable in that conversation. You know what I mean? Galloway is like a whole, like, I've been a fan of his for decades. I don't always agree with him, as I don't with anybody, but dude has a gift for the English language, yo. Fantastic orator. Yep. Holy shit. His speech in front of Congress about the Iraq war, that's when I really first knew who he was that speech. Fucking awesome. Oh, it's so good. So good. Okay, so actually Reef is on Tuesday. Fee is coming on Wednesday. And then Jimmy Doris Thursday. And then Friday I have one of the London Assange.
Tuesday what time we're doing it? 6, right?
6.
Same time as my show always is, Reef.
Yeah, I know. I just have to remember what it is.
And then Friday,
Yeah.
as I was saying, we have one of the London Assange activists. They have an event coming up in September that they wanted to hype. So I was like, well, somebody come on my show and hype it. And his name is Miles. So that'll be, at least I think, I haven't got full confirmation on that either, but I'm pretty sure that they're coming on. So yeah, I'm excited for Jimmy. That's going to be fun. Jimmy's always fun. He's like such an easy guest, yo. Oh, I love people who know the rhythm of a live show and, ad breaks and all that stuff. It just makes it so easy. And he's a consummate professional. He's been doing this for ages. So good stuff. And yeah, Moats is a great show. I love Moats. It's a great show. He has great guests, great conversation.
Mother of all talk shows.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Okay, so hopefully I'll have confirmation on that soon. I would love that very much. Next week we'll be back. Hat. Same time, same place, same bat channel, same bitch channel. You guys have anything else?
Again for the super chat.
Yeah.
Another one just now.
Did we miss any? We got another one?
One more from Nicole.
Thanks, Nicole.
I put it. Popped it up there.
Although that's probably coming in on your channel. Although it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we're on all channels.
Go watch Shanda on her channel. She's all by her lonesome tonight, so go keep her company in the chat, and we'll see you next week. Later, dudes.
Bye.
Yep.
Bye, bitches.